Hello there, collectors. It is Steven here, and I just want to do a video that I think might be helpful for some of you. Maybe it can shed a different sort of light on Patreon for a lot of you guys out there who maybe are sort of on the fence. Maybe you're thinking, I want to, but is it really worth it? Well, let me throw a different viewpoint out there for you. So one of the things that I hear a lot about Patreon from folks, whether or not it's going to be on image boards, forums, in Facebook communities and whatnot, is that there's no reason to support someone who's doing anything like, let's say what I'm doing here, action figures reviews, on Patreon because, well, you know what, if they want to get the latest and greatest, newest Goku, they can do that on their own. And you know what? That's totally fine, and I agree with that sentiment, and that is actually something that I kind of sort of pride myself on. I pay for everything that I collect basically out of this hobby. One way or another, I figure out a way to make the hobby fund itself, whether or not it's through YouTube selling figures or maybe picking up a couple extra hours at work. Yeah, that's not related to the hobby, but anyway, when it comes to things like Patreon, which I do have, I only use Patreon to help support the channel, and that is actually something that my patrons so far have done, and they've really helped out the channel. Admittedly, it's kind of subtle, but you've probably noticed something pretty peculiarly annoying about the audio in this video so far. You see, before Patreon, I had this microphone, the Shure SM57. What that is, it is a gold standard microphone for recording when it comes to things like a guitar cabinet or for vocals. There's the cousin, the SM58, which that's the one you want to use more so for vocals, but anyway, that's not the point. The point is that I had this microphone that I used for recording music stuff that I used to record my voice, and it would require me to go back and do another take after another take after another take because, well, I could get something to cover it to help out and sort of like a diaphragm for it, but at the end of the day, it wouldn't prevent all of the pops and all of the different clicks and whatnot that the SM57 can unfortunately pick up when you're using it as a vocal mic. Unfortunately, microphones can cost quite a bit. Now, with Patreon support from all my wonderful patrons, I was able to get a hold of this Sennheiser E835 here. Now, this is kind of similar to the microphone that I'm using right now, except for this one tends to have a little bit of a better lower end response, so this way it makes it sound like I have a little bit more of a bass tone to my voice, but it also helps to reduce some of the echo in the room, and it also helps to prevent the constant sound that you're always hearing throughout this video. And now doing a quick mic change on over to that Sennheiser, you can probably already hear an audio quality difference because the Sennheiser pretty much just sounds overall better for a vocal mic, and it was much more affordable. Plus, the sound and all the that is basically reduced. And like I said before, kind of sounds like it has a little bit more bass to it, and echo in the room, it helps out a little bit with that. So that way it just sounds overall nicer to your ears, which is, of course, always a good thing. It's also able to pick up a couple of extra cables to increase the signal quality. So this way, when everything gets sent on over to the computer's end of things, it's able to process everything much nicer than that. Now, as some of you guys know, I do like to take some of the dark shots, the nighttime shots of Godzilla destroying a city, maybe a Super Saiyan powering up, and one of the ways that I really do that is by using what are called finger lights. And the problem with finger lights is they like to die out really, really soon, right? So the white ones, they tend to last. I give them like 4 or 5 pictures with setup and teardown and all that fun stuff. The red, they're good for maybe 2 or 3. And unfortunately, as time goes on, you know, you do have to throw them out. You got to get rid of them. Green and blue, I use those not so much, but that's not the point. The point is, thanks to my patrons, I was able to order another set of these when I needed them in a pinch, and I got a whole new 100-count finger light box shipped straight from Amazon, and I basically didn't have to worry about maybe having to delay a pre-order or something or anything of the sort. Patreon was there, all my patrons had my back already, and I was able to go ahead and order a whole new set of lights, so this way I can continue taking pictures. And basically, everyone really didn't know what was going on behind the scenes, except for those small quality of life improvements were still happening, thanks to Patreon. So maybe that helps sway you one way or another for maybe even joining my Patreon or somebody else's, but regardless, at the end of the day, I do agree with the mentality that if somebody wants to buy their Goku, they should do it on their own. I totally get that, and I do. And I figure out different ways to fund my hobby. But when it comes to things like investing in the channel, it's great to have community support so this way you can continue doing what you're doing and have that little bit of extra validation from a couple of fans who really like what you're doing. And basically, for them helping me out, or any of the other creators that they like out, it helps out everyone. Okay? All right. Well, hopefully that sort of sways your opinion a little bit on Patreon. Maybe it sort of makes you feel a little better. I know some folks think it's really grimy. Hopefully this changes things a little bit. Maybe you'll join mine. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll look to somebody else's. But still, at the end of the day, I hope a new viewpoint was had here. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll catch you in the next video.